Well, let's see. Looks like I'm live on Facebook. I'm waiting for two more. There's one on LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIn, and hello, YouTube. Glad to be here. I hope that y'all had an exciting and fun-filled weekend. Those of us in the U.S. celebrated Thanksgiving, of course, and it was just a good time for me to kick back, disconnect a little bit with some things that I'd been working on, and just took time to relax. What did you do over the weekend? What did you do for Thanksgiving? Anything great? Love to hear from you on that. Let's see here. Let me open up my chat so that I can hear from folks. So I'm a little off schedule today, but I am here anyway, committed to showing up daily to celebrate with you and to just spend time, connecting with people in a little bit different way. That said, I'd love to invite anyone. I realize I've got several thousand of you in my network between Facebook and LinkedIn, and then a handful of subscribers on YouTube. And I would just really love to have a conversation with you. If we haven't had the opportunity to touch base, if we haven't had the opportunity to connect and just chat about some of the things that you've got going on, or something that you'd like to share, I'd invite you to connect with me, schedule a call, talkwithdanw.com. I put the link there in the I hope you can see it on my video, but all right, so let me see. Where am I? Hey, Will, good to see you, my friend. I hope that you had a good weekend. Look forward to trying to connect again with you soon. So, so let's start with the hat, because Ryan, my buddy, challenged me to wear a different hat each of these days, and or each of my lives, and so I'm working on it. I have to go to storage and find the rest of my hats, but so today I defaulted to one I keep around the house, and it's this one from Hoffman Archery, a small place in northern area of Virginia that I used to love to visit. I like hunting, the outdoors, fishing, the beach in particular. Not that I hunt on the beach, but those are just some of my likes, and this particular hat is related to archery. I do enjoy bow hunting. And I actually, this opportunity led me to connecting with my daughters in a little bit different way, because they both took an interest in archery at the same time that I was exploring, getting back into archery. So that was a real fun way to connect with my daughters at that time. So yes, that's what this hat is. And what did I come here to share? Oh, man. So I had a couple interesting conversations this morning on Clubhouse, and it led me to just a couple of the things that I've been working on and my realignment, so to speak, and my coaching and some of the work that I'm doing. And I'm still looking for opportunities to teach on different topics. But one of the things that stood out from this morning's conversations is the veteran community in particular, and a couple of the observations I've made. And so you might have some comments on this one as well. But one of the things I've seen and observed and experienced myself is that far too often when we leave that space, first of all, there's a couple myths about the transition that they don't really tell you. It's easy to think that we can walk out the door and get a job making six figures in just about any area. And in some cases, that's certainly true. And in my case, it probably was true, although I chose before I left to explore more freedom and taking control back of my own life. I had spent many, many years serving the mission of someone else and serving the orders that I'd signed up to follow. I have zero argument with doing that, although I learned some lessons along the way that I wish I'd learned sooner. And I digress. My point wasn't to talk about those experiences necessarily, but just to say that too often I see that veterans, especially those that move into the entrepreneurial space or even career space, I guess, they spend a lot of time hiding from the things that make them who they are today. So those experiences that we've gained, whether you serve 2 years, 4 years, 20 years, doesn't matter. you served a mission and a purpose that was bigger than you, and those experiences become a valuable part of who you are today and how you can show up. And why is this important? Well, today, the conversation was really about looking at people who have created businesses for the purposes of creating an income, I think, are doing tremendous things. But too often I see that they get burnt out, they get frustrated, they get tired with the things that they're doing, and they're lacking fulfillment. And it's because they've tried to ignore the things that made them who they are today. They've tried to suppress those experiences. And maybe it's a fear of not wanting people to judge them based on those experiences, or not wanting people to, work with them simply because of the experiences that they had in a particular area of their life, whether, law enforcement, first responders, or military. We get a lot of attention when it comes to people's gratitude, but, that we tend to overlook that it's not really those experiences are what's leading people to want to work with you. It's the experiences that you bring as a result of the things that you've done. It's not because you're a veteran. It's not because you're a former LEO, or it's not because you're a first responder that people choose to buy from you. Although that could be a part of why they choose to interact with you in the first place. It's not what they're drawn to. They're drawn to you as a person, the whole person, how you show up. So I'm going to encourage you today that whether you're, a veteran in entrepreneurial space or business space, or you're, another top performer in an executive space somewhere, you've got experiences that people are drawn to because that's who you are, not because of the experiences themselves. So hopefully that made any sense whatsoever. And Will said Thanksgiving with Angela, his brother, and his brother's wife. So that sounds like a really good time. And I'm glad that you were able to take that time, Will. Good to know. And yes, freedom is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. I absolutely agree. And there's a period of time that we take responsibility for that. And I'm going to just, again, when you leave that space, my encouragement today is for veterans in particular, that when you leave that space, don't try to brush it off as if it didn't happen. Don't try to put it aside as if it's not part of who you are today. It certainly is part of who you are and how you show up today. And I'm going to encourage you to embrace that. Take hold of it. It's something that, somebody pointed out to me. So Rich Litvin pointed it out to me in a recent conversation, that the experiences I had, the experiences that, shaped where I'm at now, were all tremendous contributing factors to how I'm able to help others. Those experiences and challenging leaders throughout my life, and helping people, strategically analyze situations and circumstances to gain new insights, are what allows me to be, I think, a powerful coach for people. So I'm learning to embrace those experiences once again, and not bury them, so to speak, in my work history, and that's it. It's part of who I am today. It's part of who I'm showing up as, how I'm showing up. So those were interesting conversations had this morning. And I think the other thing I'll leave with today is, the fulfillment piece, right? Too often, I started talking about it a minute ago. I think I got off track, but too often I see people, I've observed people, I've worked with people who are doing great things. They're successful for all intensive purposes, looking from the outside in. But when you look from the inside out, they're missing something. They're missing other things in their life. And it leads back to the conversation about veterans. And what we tend to do is we pursue these things. These are, top performers overall, high achievers. We pursue the things that we think are going to make the difference and lead us towards that next level of success. But too often it comes with sacrifice. And for me personally, I'll go back to my military career and say that I was certainly working to achieve the next level of success. And for me, it was doing all of the right things from a military perspective, supporting my military friends and family and the things that we were working to achieve together. But it came at the sacrifice of my own interests, my own personal ambitions and desires, and my family. I neglected to spend time nurturing all of those areas, and it left me with this complete lack of fulfillment. And so I just want to tell you today that it doesn't have to be that way. There's some things that you can do now to start reshaping who you are, and it doesn't require you going back to who you were before the military or before your successful career. It just requires that you slow down and spend time being intentional in the other areas of your life. The reward is going to be great when you can take time to do that. So if you find yourself in a place where you're lacking fulfillment in your work, but overall you're successful, you're high performing, maybe you're making a great income, what other areas of your life do you need to consider today? And I think as we move into the holiday season, that's a great point of reflection. And Will says he discovered that during his divorce, both fortunately and unfortunately. Yeah, I agree. There are certainly lessons learned for me in my divorce, Will, and it caused me to stop and think about how I was showing up, how I was doing things. And I've been on a search, so to speak, for more fulfillment and more reward in those other areas of my life, not just the financial gain from running a business, not just the time freedom that it allows me. By the way, that's another rant, time freedom that it allows me. I see great leaders out there. We talk about Gary Vee, we talk about Elon Musk, and we talk about some other people who are doing amazing things, and they talk about the grind. And I'm not a supporter. I'm not a supporter of the grind. I don't think it has to be that way. In fact, I've found that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to work 60, 70, 80 hours grinding to do the things that you love doing or do the things that you really want to be doing. In fact, I found it to be much more productive when you reverse engineer that, when you slow down to be able to do more, to be able to spend more time intentionally in the other things that are bringing you fulfillment. You can really quickly get burnt out and feel like you've not succeeded and feel like there's still more out there if all you do is put your nose to the grindstone. And that conversation about the unspoken thing in entrepreneurship is that we work 80 to 100 hours, et cetera, et cetera. And I fell into that trap in the beginning. I thought that maybe that was true because I hadn't yet learned to slow down after my career in the military. But as I started working on being intentional about slowing down, refocusing on what's the things I can do right now to make the most difference, it really started opening up space for new ideas, new ways of doing business, and new opportunities in business that didn't require me to spend 80, 90, 100 hours a week working with my nose to the grindstone. And I think personally that's a terrible way to live. And so, if that's something you're struggling with as you listen to this video, or as you are here live with me, I'm not sure who all's here, but if you go back and watch this and you'd like to talk through something like that, or you just want to connect and share something you're working on, let's connect. And I'm all about creating relationships, building new relationships, and supporting those around me, because I know in the end of the day that when I'm able to support those around me, they're in turn able to support me better. And so for that reason, I'm going to invite anyone who's here to connect with me. And the link, I think, is still up there. It's talkwithdanw.com. Schedule a 30-minute call with me. That's no sales pitch involved. If there's a challenge that I can help you work through in that time frame, then that's what we're going to set out to do. If there's something you just want to connect and talk about that you're excited about, then that's what we're going to do. If through solving a challenge or working together, you want to talk also about what it looks like to coach with me, then we're going to talk about that too. But there's no sales pitch. It's just an opportunity to truly connect with new people, people I haven't had the opportunity to talk with yet, to learn about yet. And I'm not a big fan of the feeling of disconnect that social media offers. I have, again, thousands of contacts between my social media platforms, but I can't tell you the last time I've had a real conversation with more than a handful of you, and that's where the invitation is coming from, is an opportunity to just really connect with you in a new way, and get to know some of the people who are already around me. So I hope that you'll take me up on that. I look forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, I think that's all for my message today. Let's see here. Yeah, thanks for showing up. And Will, good to see you. Thanks for engaging. Tell your family I said hello. I guess you're still hanging out there, and I hope that you're able to enjoy this time as you prepare for your transition. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, or if there's something you think you can do for me. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.